Hello students. Now we are going to discuss the types of nuclear reaction based on the classification of the energy of the incident particles. So what you see here is that the incident particle would strike on the target nucleus to produce the product nucleus and the outgoing particle. So the energy of the incident particle could vary from very low value to a high value. So the incident particle having energy low values, that is up to the range of 1000 electron volts, would be regarded as the low energy reaction. When the incident particle possess energy ranging from 1000 electron volt or from 1 kilo electron volt to 500 kilo electron volt, then the reaction is said to as the moderate energy reaction. When the energy of the incident particle is carried by them is 500 kilo electron volt to 10 mega electron volt, then the reaction is said to be named as the high energy reaction. And when the incident particle possess energy from 10 mega electron volt to 50 mega electron volt, then the reaction is said to be very high energy reaction. And when the incident particle possess energy above 50 mega electron volt, then the reaction is called as the ultra high energy reaction. So depending upon the energy of the incident particle, the classification of the nuclear reaction is such. We have seen when the energy of the incident particle is varying from 1000 electron volt to 10 mega electron volt, then the nucleus as a whole acts as one entity, means that the incoming particles nucleus will be taken as one consideration and the whole nucleus is interacting with the target nucleus. But when the energy of the incident particle is between 10 mega electron volt to hundreds of mega electron volt, then the only particular cluster of nucleons are said to be interacting. Then whole nucleus is not under the interaction of with the target nucleus, but only certain nucleons, group of nucleons or a cluster of nucleons are under the interaction with the target nucleus. But when the energy exceeds than 50 mega electron volt or 100 mega electron volts, then we say that the interaction which was limited to certain nucleons, now what happens that the nucleons are such interacting with the target nucleus that the meson production takes place and the nuclear structure is just unimportant. It becomes the least important what is the nuclear structure. So the meson domination, production domination takes place and the nuclear structure becomes the least important. So this was the classification of the nuclear reaction on the basis of the incident particles energy. Next we see how we classify the target elements. So the target elements would be classified as lighter nuclei when the target nuclei has an mass number less than 25. So we know that for calcium it is 12, magnesium 24. So we can say till magnesium or till aluminium, those elements are regarded as the lighter nuclei. But when we go to the intermediate nuclei where the mass number is ranging till 80, so the mass number from 25 to 80, those nuclei, those elements would be regarded as the intermediate nuclei. And the nuclei which are having the mass number greater than 80 are regarded as the heavy nuclei. So this is the basis of the classification of the target nuclei, that they are called the lighter, they are called the intermediate or the heavy nuclei. So next we discuss how the reactions are based on the charges of the incident particle. So we call these as the charged particle induced nuclear reaction. So what is the charge carried by the incident particle? So the charges also determine that how the reaction will take place. So the charged particle induced nuclear reactions are classified along the proton induced, deuteron induced, alpha particle induced, neutron induced, photon induced and the tritium induced. So now let's take into consideration the proton induced nuclear reaction. So in the proton induced nuclear reaction, we consider the P alpha reaction. What does this P alpha reaction determines? That our incident particle is proton, whereas the alpha particle will be the outgoing particle. So this was the first experiment performed by Rutherford, that is 3 lithium 7 plus 1H1 gives beryllium 8, that is the compound nucleus, and 2 alpha particles are shed out. Similarly, we can say that boron is struck by the proton and it becomes carbon 12 as a compound nucleus, and we get beryllium 8 and helium 4. Helium 4 is the alpha particle, but there is an interesting fact that the product nucleus beryllium 8 further decays from the 2 alpha particles. So in this way, when boron reacts with proton, we are having 3 alpha particles as the byproducts. The next type of the proton induced reaction is the p-end reaction, where the neutron will be released as the outgoing particle. So if we consider the basic theme, basic decay process, that will be ZXA plus 1H1. Proton is 1H1. So the compound nucleus form will be Z plus 1, daughter nucleus A plus 1. And since it is decaying to form a neutron, so the compound nucleus element would be same, that is the D will remain D and the atomic number will remain atomic number, and there would be a change in a mass number by 1. So an isotope will be formed of the compound nucleus and the daughter nucleus. Whereas if we consider the parent nuclide and the daughter nuclide, end product of the daughter nuclide, we see that we have isobars, where the mass numbers are same but the atomic numbers are different. So such type of reactions are always the endothermic reactions. So we have oxygen 18 reacting with proton to get out as fluorine 18 and a nitrogen. Similarly, the other type of reaction of the proton induced are proton gamma and proton deuteron, where the aluminium reacts with proton to give out the silicon 28 and the gamma. And here also what we see that the mass number has been increased by 1 and the atomic number has also been increased by 1. Whereas in the case of the proton deuterium, what we see that the atomic number remains the same, whereas the mass number has been reduced by 1 in the expulsion of the deuteron. So what we see here that beryllium 9 gives beryllium 8 plus 1H2. So we have an isotope here. When the proton is liberating deuteron, we get an isotope. So next is the deuteron induced reaction. So for the deuteron induced reaction, we have D alpha, DP, DN and DT. So what we see here that the parent nuclide atomic number decreases by 1 and the mass number decreases by 2. So we have that the calcium is now becoming the potassium and liberating an alpha particle. Similarly, for the DP reaction, what happens that we again get an isotope. So DXA reacts to form ZXA plus 1 and a proton. So we have sodium 23 isotope is converted into sodium 24 isotope when a deuteron strikes and a proton is liberated. Similarly, for the deuteron-neutron reaction, we have that the bismuth is changing into a polonium and giving out a neutron when the deuteron has struck the bismuth. And for the deuteron-tritium reaction, again we have an isotope creation, that is 3 lithium 7 creates 3 lithium 6 where deuteron had struck and the tritium was liberated out. And the square brackets here shows the compound nucleus that are formed. So it has been observed when the deuteron of energy greater than 20 megaelectron volt is incident on the target nucleus, we also see some other type of reactions, that is D2N, D3N and D2P. So what are these D2N, D3N and D2P? D2N is that deuteron is striking and 2 neutrons are liberated. D3N represents that deuteron is striking and 3 neutrons are liberated. Striking, and instead of 1 proton we are having 2 protons. Okay. So with the conservation of the atomic number and mass number, we can balance the equations, and accordingly we can fit the element corresponding to the mass number and the atomic number. So next is the alpha particle induced reaction. So for alpha particle induced reaction, we have two type of reaction, that is alpha N and alpha P. Where in this alpha N, what we are having, that the Z atomic number is increased by 2 and the mass number is increased by 3, because when alpha particle had strike, there was 2 He4, so the total of the mass number was A plus 4. And when neutron was liberated, to conserve the mass number, what we get A plus 3, and the atomic number is increased by 2, that is Z plus 2. So we have the reaction that lithium is struck by alpha particle forming boron 10, and similarly the sodium is struck by the alpha particle liberating the aluminium 26 and a neutron. Now we consider the alpha P reaction. So in alpha P reaction, again the atomic number is increased by 1 and the mass number is increased by 3 with the liberation of proton. So we have again that 13 aluminium 27 plus 2 He4 reacts to form 14 silicon 30 and 1 proton. And we have 19 potassium 39 forming the 20 calcium 42 and a proton when the alpha particle strikes the aluminium and the potassium. So this is the alpha particle induced nuclear reaction. Next we come to the neutron induced nuclear reaction. So in the neutron induced nuclear reaction, we have again 4 types, that is N alpha, Np, N2n and N gamma. So in N alpha reaction, we have that the boron is struck by neutron to give lithium and a alpha particle. So in this case of the neutron reaction, what we see, when the alpha particle is decaying, we see that the mass number is decreased by 3 and the atomic number is decaying by 2. And in the NP reaction, the atomic number is decreasing by 1 and the mass number remains same. So we get an isobar in the NP reaction. So these are the ways in which we can create isotopes and isobars. Also we can get isotones depending upon the reactions. So zinc reacted with neutron to form the copper 64 and proton. Similarly, we have N2N reaction. This N2N reaction means that if we strike an element with 1 proton, it is capable of giving out 2 protons. So 1 neutron is capable of giving 2 neutrons. So we can get an increased number of neutrons. So we can have a series of neutrons when we carry out such type of reactions. So again here we have an isotope creation. So 92 uranium 238 when struck by neutron gives us 92 uranium 237 and 2 neutrons. So if we want a series of neutrons, so carrying out such type of reactions under whatever their favorable conditions are, we can get more number of neutrons. So we can generate neutrons by doing such reactions. In the N gamma reaction, again we have an isotope creation. So this is the radiative capture. So this is that indium 115 when captures the neutron, it gives out indium 116 and a gamma radiation. Next is the photon induced nuclear reaction. So when the photon strikes the target element, so that type of reactions were regarded as the photo disintegration. Means the gamma rays are used to make the compound nucleus to a higher excited state, and then they decay down to their ground state by decaying out or expelling out one or more nucleons. So we have gamma N, gamma P and gamma 2Pn. So in the gamma N reaction, when the gamma struck on was absorbed by the beryllium, so beryllium 9 was excited to the higher excited state and beryllium 9 came down to its ground state as beryllium 8 and a neutron was expelled. Then in the gamma P reaction, what was happening? That 12 magnesium 25 captured the gamma ray and we had sodium 24 and a proton was released. In gamma 2Pn, what will be there? That the aluminium captures the gamma and Aluminium 27 is the compound nucleus in the excited state, where in the product part we have two protons, that is 1h1, 1h1 and one neutron, and a sodium 24 is formed. So in this way we can have the nuclear reactions. So always remember that in photodisintegration process, the gammas are captured by the target to form a compound nucleus which is in the higher excited state. It comes back to its ground state by expelling out one or more nucleons. So proton and neutrons are the nucleons. So they expel out one or more nucleons when they come back to the ground state. Next is the tritium induced nuclear reaction. So we have tritium proton, tritium neutron, tritium neutron and tritium alpha induced reaction. So in the tritium proton reaction, the cobalt 59 has changed to cobalt 61 and a proton is released. In the tritium neutron reaction, copper was struck by the tritium and it gave out the copper 64 and a neutron. So here what we see in both the reactions, that an isotope is created. But in the tritium neutron reaction, when sulfur was hit by the tritium, it gave chlorine and a neutron. So here in the T alpha reaction, lithium when struck by the tritium, it gave out 2 alpha particles. So in this way we can generate alpha particle by carrying out this reaction. So I hope that you must have understood the types of nuclear reaction based upon the classification of the energy of the incident particle and based on the charge of the incident particle, and also on the basis of whether number of nucleons are emitted, alpha particle is emitted, it is photodisintegration, it is spallation, it is transmutation, it is stripping, pick-off. So depending upon the nature of the target and the incident particle, we can classify our nuclear reactions. So meet you again, keep watching, thank you.